In a few hours' time, European leaders will gather at an EU summit in Brussels. Top of the agenda will be Greece and looking for a solution to satisfy a deeply divided European Union. Germany is working to a domestic agenda and appears to be in no hurry to help Greece out. But markets are piling the pressure on leaders to reach an agreement and have sold the euro down to a 10-month low against the greenback. Francis Bell reports.
When the Greek Prime Minister arrived in Brussels for yet another meeting on his country's debt crisis, there was a strong push for less talk and more action.
The Commission believes it is now appropriate to create, within the euro area, an instrument for coordinated action which could be used to provide assistance to Greece in case of need. The framework for coordinated action should be understood as a safety net to be used only in case that all other means to avoid the crisis have been exhausted, including first and foremost exhausting the scope for policy action at domestic level.
Greece hasn't asked for a bailout to clear its $450 billion debt, but believes it would get lower interest rates from nervous investors if the Eurozone offered a rescue package of last resort. But German Chancellor Angela Merkel's reluctance to put taxpayer money on the line for Greece continues to be a major stumbling block.
The International Herald Tribune said that Greece has delivered. And who has not delivered is Germany and other countries in the Eurozone. And Germany is not sticking to its promise and not delivering.
I'm sickened by what I've heard today by many. It's a self-centred opinion for those other member states looking after themselves. Greece is the problem at the moment. I feel it'll go from Greece to Spain and then Portugal and Italy and so on. The roller coaster will start.
France and Germany are pushing for the International Monetary Fund to play a central role. The Secretary-General of the OECD agrees Greece should have access to IMF funds.
If you have an institution like the IMF, which is yours, Greece is shareholder, which is there to help you, then why not? Or at least why not consider it as part of the solution?
Research fellow at the Centre for Independent Studies, Oliver Hartwich, says an IMF rescue might be the only solution because he doubts a deal will be reached at the summit.
On the one hand, it would be quite humiliating to European leaders because it would demonstrate to the world that Europe is not able to solve its own problems. On the other hand, the IMF has the necessary capital in place, it's got the necessary experience to turn around a country like Greece or Portugal.
Portugal has been doing some belt-tightening of its own, but it hasn't been enough to stop a downgrade of its credit rating by Fitch ratings agency. Oliver Hartwich says it's a sign of things to come for the so-called pigs countries: Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece and Spain.
Fiscal problems that we see in a number of these countries, specifically Portugal and Spain, are severe, and they're probably more severe in the long run in the Greek crisis because these countries are far bigger than Greece. Greece, we shouldn't forget, only is about 3% of the total Eurozone. If it comes to a country like Spain with a population that is considerably larger than Greece, the problems for the euro will get incredibly severe.
Portugal's downgrade took the euro to a 10-month low against the US dollar.
And I think if we don't get some sort of formal agreements, or at least some sort of agreement towards formally supporting Greece in these very difficult times, it could actually see the euro continue to weaken, and a move down through 130 certainly is possible.
Robert Rennie says the uncertainty in Europe means investors are now reluctant to treat the euro as a strong alternative to the US dollar.
I guess you're now really beginning to question, if you buy the euro, do you really know what you will own 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now?
Making the US dollar right now the least worst alternative.